develop a little bit farther back. That's J.R. Hildebrand with the National Guard number 4, Oriel Servian, that 22. That is for 12th and 13th. Did I hear JR's radio saying pit this lap? Yeah, they're laid out. So Hildebrand last pitted on lap number 64, and we're only on lap number 91. So Vince, we're going to send it to you a little bit early here. What's going on?
Well, obviously, Monty, they've got an issue. They certainly wouldn't be coming into pit at this particular spot without that problem. So looking at the engine has just shut off on the 4 car. They don't look to be working on anything in particular with it now. They just checked a piece of suspension on the left front. Going to refire the car, but obviously it was not handling to his liking. We'll see if we can get a word with John Barnes here momentarily.
Right, thank you, Benny.
And Vince, I saw them pull something out from the radiator inlet there. The mechanics reached in. It looked like it was a piece of foam or something that was actually stuck in there. So they might have had a heating issue with the car and probably saw that the temperature was going up.
Battle for 6th right now. Frank Keedy trying to hang on. Hinchcliffe right behind him. And you notice since Dario has not been out in front, he's had a bit of a struggle now.
Well, and it seems to be he doesn't have the pace that he had before. Remember, you have to choose where your downforce level is going to be. And in this scenario, does he maybe not have enough downforce level to keep the car running in traffic? Now, he's not running that close to Dixon, who's in front of him, so I just believe that the handling is not exactly where he needs it.
You see the numbers on Hinchcliffe. His fastest lap, his last lap. And there's a lot of spray coming up on. Whoa, and Justin Wilson. He has.
Turn in left there. Turn in left. Go straight towards the wall.
Yeah, it looks like.
Good job. Good job. Hey, let's get out of that thing.
It is on fire, and it is really on fire.
Hustle out of that. You're on fire now.
Now he's one of the tallest guys in the series, 6'3.5" inches tall. That's a long frame to get out of that car, but when it's on fire, you will. Now this is when you're hoping that the safety crew will get there very quickly. He's waving to them.
Our second caution comes out here on lap number 95, and a tough break for Justin Wilson, the winner just a week ago at Texas, qualified 2nd, had to start 12th because of the 10-position penalty with the engine change. And here's what happened when the engine just went up.
Yeah, and he felt it before we started to see the smoke. You saw him start to dive towards the inside of the track. Now, I believe that was still the Honda Series 1 motor that he had in that car, and they were just trying to complete and finish up the miles on that, and they opted not to do an engine change here this weekend.
All right, let's talk a little pit strategy now that we know that Justin is okay. You've got your caution here, completed lap number 95. And as I look down all the cars through the top 12, back in 10th and 11th, Kanan and Sato pitted on lap 62, and the range goes all the way as high as lap 69 for Scott Dixon. So what do you want to do?
Well, for me, I think just the way the tires seem to be fading off here, and the best of the tire goes away after about 20 or 30 laps, I would not be surprised to see a lot of people come in and take advantage of this yellow to not only change tires but also fill up. Remember, if you pit under green here, you're certainly going to lose 2 laps. You've got to believe this can be a very busy pit lane once the pits are open.
Right now we have 17 cars on the lead lap. We have 2 cars officially out, Justin Wilson and Simona Di Silvestro. Joseph Newgarden is back in the race, but he is 62 laps down. All right, pit road is open, and EJ Vizo is going to be a taker, so our race leader is coming in. So is Barrichello. So is Ryan Hunter-Reay. So you were right on, Scotty. Most of the field is taking advantage.
And Ryan Hunter-Reay in his box. You see EJ Vizo there as well. A lot of takers. Michael Andretti on the radio told Ryan Hunter-Reay, if the later pits, you pit. Down the way. Rick?
Frank Keedy brings it in. Nice clean pit stop. No adjustments beyond air pressure. A little bit on the slow on the right front, but they're getting back out late.
It's going to cost him a few positions as well.
I saw a wheel nut laying on the ground for the right front for Frank Keedy, so the crew members have an extra wheel nut attached to their belt on their fire suit. I suspect he probably got that and put that on, but there was a wheel nut for the right front sitting there on Franchitti.
Did you see Alex Tagliani picked up the 2 spots on pit road? He restarted that last.
You push up around the turn, that big piece of rubber, that butterfly as we call it, actually helps you keep the grip because you just can't hold these things strong enough.
All right, let's get an update on Elio's strategy. What about it, Vince?
Well, we wanted to talk with John Erickson, but at this moment he's communicating with the team. Obviously, the only ones that did not come in to pit. John, what was the thought process there?
Just wanted to get him to the front.
There you go. You heard it. Just wanted to get him to the front.
Well, what we've seen, when Dario Franchitti was up front, he had the best car out there. Nobody could get around him. EJ Viso, nobody got around him. Here's Elio as we come down for the green flag. It flies. No, yellow. They wave it off.
So that one didn't look like a 2x2, did it at all?
And as they,
Let's tear them up and start them again next time. Let's tear them up and start again next time.
But everybody on new tires, Marty, want to take advantage of the grip that you have, so they'll have their foot on the gas.
see, and I don't know about you, and with the double foul restarts, you've got J.R. Hildebrand now on the outside of the front row. He is 2 laps down in 22nd position. Should he be there?
Well, if he can get in front and get 1 lap back, that's what he's trying to do. There's still a long time in the race, and Elio, he's going to get the good jump this time.
Oh, Viso real slow in the middle there. Green flag is out. Elio gets a good start, but Viso gets swamped by about 5 cars. That's Ryan Hunter-Reay down into the corner. Right now it is Castroneves, Hunter-Reay, Viso, still shown in third because that's J.R. Hildebrand. As we mentioned, he is 2 laps down.
Boy, watch this side by side. A lot of close racing. Hinchcliffe getting close also. Now going to go around the outside of the number 2 machine of Ryan Briscoe. Remember, Ryan's been in a couple of times, have had some work done. So he's putting in laps, does not have a car that he feels comfortable with, and everybody's starting to file by really without too much trouble.
On board with Ryan Briscoe, he is in 22nd position right now, also 2 laps down. Now in about 3 minutes we are going to be switching over to ESPN News and swapping spots with the NASCAR Nationwide Series as they will be coming over to ABC. Now our coverage will continue on ESPN News and ESPN3, and that's in a little less now than 3 minutes. So get ready. There is James Hinchcliffe right now, and Hinchcliffe shown in the 5th position as he is a full 4 seconds behind race leader Elio Castroneves. And again, the strategy of being out front has worked. Castroneves has opened up almost a full second lead over second place Ryan Hunter-Reay. So whoever has been out front on these restarts has been able to take advantage.
Yeah. Both Castroneves and Ryan Hunter-Reay running the same time.
Oh, and a crash. Takuma Sato is into the wall. And Sato, well, this will be his 4th race in a row where he has crashed out. James Jakes involved as well. And J.R. Hildebrand. We're just seeing his car for the first time. He's tucked in towards the inside of the track. This is all down in the turn 2 section. Actually, he's coasted all the way down to turn 3.
Yeah, we're not sure if it's a result of the 2 of them getting together, maybe 2 separate accidents, but a lot of damage for Takuma. And a driver that also came from Formula 1 who's been quite strong. Remember that beautiful run that he had over at Indianapolis.
Okay, let's go back and see if we can sort this out. Now this is the restart.
Looks like Takuma up there, yeah, just getting loose. Boy, that's not going to be good for him.
Okay, then let's go 1 lap later.
See, and the back end's now coming around, and we don't know from that view whether or not he went around because he got involved with James Jakes, or else if Jakes went around and took out Takuma. So this will be interesting to see.
And Sato had last pitted on lap number 97, so it might not have been a tire issue. Now, again, we're going to be reminding you, we're going to be stepping aside over to ESPN News and swapping spots with the NASCAR Nationwide Series. They'll be coming over here to ABC. We've got our 3rd caution, though, because of a 3-car incident. And there you see J.R. Hildebrand and
with the smoke coming off of that, I think that we know that he's obviously has a problem, maybe called engine related possibly.
All right. Coverage of the Eyes on IndyCar Series in Milwaukee will continue on.
And that's what drivers love, because you're racing for position. There is now starting to do the 2x2 restart, side by each. The second row's got to get a little closer to the front because they're going to take off here in a hurry.
Pace car is already getting ready to pull into pit road. Helio Castroneves with the choice has selected the inside. They come out of 4 down the front straightaway. Flag is green.
Green, green.
What happens in the start, Marty, and restarts is that when they go green, the spotters who are up top are telling their drivers.
They're on the outside. The director looking clear.
All right.
Busy time.
Scott, I just got word while you were finishing up there. Scott Dixon is going to get a drive-through penalty. Officials ruled that he jumped the restart, not this time, but the time prior. Now, we've got the restart for you. And this is not this start, but the one prior.
I don't understand what's going on with that, because when the green flag goes, you can pass on restarts. You don't have to wait till the line. Matter of fact, even on the starts, I think it's on the new rules.
Well, he's serving the penalty, and this is going to hurt him a lot, as he had come all the way up from 21st, put it in the top 5, and looked to be a contender.
Well, from what I saw there, Marty, I didn't see anything wrong with that.
Don't know if we have another angle that might have shown it. Rick, what are you hearing down there?
Well, Dixon made it very clear as to what he thought about that. He called it ridiculous. Mike Hull tried to get him to calm down, saying, look, we just called it. We're going to do it. Go catch up. And he just came on the radio again a moment ago saying, I didn't jump it. Bottom line is he's already served it. Now he's got to catch up again. Remember, he'd gone from 23rd, 21st, all the way up to 4th and 5th position.
Yeah, well, at least he stayed on the lead lap. Now, here's another view of it from up top. There you see the number 9.
He's on the outside. And he's just falling right onto Ray. That's ahead of him.
And Vizo's the one that stalled there.
Slow. I mean,
he was not on the gas at all.
I don't see anything wrong with that whatsoever.
Tough break. But Dixon is 17th right now. But as I said, he's still on the lead lap. He's got 13.5 seconds to make up. The only good thing I can tell you is he's got a lot of clear track in front of him right now. There's the margin back to race leader Helio Castroneves. We'll keep an eye on his lap times here, see what kind of speeds he's able to turn. While all this continues with Helio Castroneves well out in front, Jamie Little has caught up with Takuma Sato.
And he has been checked and released as well. And James Jake said you just flat got into him. What was leading up to that?
Well, we were side by side from the turn 4 and then getting back to the main straight in turn 1. And we were very close. I was just hanging in there. It's nothing, you know, position-wise, I was boxed in and just the loose, you know, the back end loose, and we made a contact.
All right, close racing. It's a product of it. His 7th DNF this season, Marty.
Yeah, it's another disappointing end for that entire team. As we are watching the battle continue here out on the track. That's Tony Kanaan on the left side of your screen. Dario Franchitti right on the behind him there. That is a battle for 8th on the racetrack. The third car in that freight train, that is Ed Carpenter. And Carpenter managed to get back on the lead lap through the courses of these yellows. He has done an excellent job and is running in that 10th position.
Ed's done a great job coming up from junior formulas all the way through. Remember, he did a different thing than most of the drivers that are probably on the track today that ran formula cars, and he went through all the midget ranks and what have you, and did all the oval tracks here in the Midwest, and really a driver that has done a great job adapting to these cars. And another driver that's out there that understands we have to do 100% on the track and off the track, because it's his team this year. He's a driver owner, and he has the fuzzy sponsorship. And it's a rare breed today, Marty, because as a driver owner, you have a lot of pressure during the week, and then when you come here on the weekend, you have to sort of turn all that off and put your racing helmet on.
Checking back in with Oriol Servia in the 22 and Tony Kanaan As that looks like Kanan's getting ready to make a move for the position, taking the look underneath, and Sorvia holds his line and holds the spot. So now have to reset it. Meanwhile, let's check in with Vince Welch.
Another heartbreaking finish for Joseph Newgarden and the Sarah Fisher team. What was the mechanical failure there?
You know, we don't really know. We actually brought it back behind the wall, tried to figure it out, get it fixed, and get it back out and get some laps in. But, you know, we weren't able to find the solution. So we got to, I think, bring it back to the shop, dig a little deeper, and see what happened. But, you know, something fuel-related. It's just started cutting very early on me in the race, about 5-10 laps in. And, you know, we were kind of nursing the problem early on, and then it just kept getting worse and worse and worse. And it's just a shame. You know, this whole Sarah Fisher Hartman racing crew, they do such a good job. And, you know, whatever it is, we just can't catch the break. So we got to try and find something that can change our luck.
Marty?
All right, another tough break for the team, but they'll get it sorted out. As you take a look at Marco Andretti right now with Graham Rahal right behind him. That is 12th and 13th, and Graham looks like he's got a bit of a run on Marco. That's Pagano, the third car. Here comes Graham taking a look to the inside. Down into 3, and he's going to make it look easy.
Remember, they've had a bit of sparks going on earlier this year back in Long Beach when Graham was doing a little bit of blocking with Marco, and Graham is still on probation up through the next event in Iowa. So there's not a lot of love lost between those. We've had some feuds in the past between great racing families, and this one just is continuing on between the Andrettis and Rahals.
Well, that continues. That has settled down. Let's get an update on Marco from Jamie Little.
Well, earlier in the race, he thought he was having engine issues. He said it just didn't have that pull, that torque. Then about lap 70, he said, guys, my brakes are failing. Finally, Kyle Moyer, his strategist, came on the radio about 15 laps ago, and he said, we have a slight brake leak, so take care of your brakes. I can't imagine what that would feel like, Scott.
Oh, boy, that is something around a 1-mile track when you've got walls looming all the way around. So luckily that in this particular track, you're not using the brakes going in the turn like a particular road course or anything like that. But if you need them, that is just a time when you're going to have panic going across. So not something a driver wants to hear, that's for sure, Jamie.
While all that continues, we'll update you. The race lead is just over half a second with Elio Castroneves ahead of Ryan Hunter-Reay. EJ Viso is 1.1 seconds behind. Now, Elio Castroneves last pitted on lap number 69, so we're working lap number 141. Those tires have got to be screaming by now in pain.
Well, at the end of his run right now, the track is getting better because he's still doing almost 152 miles an hour on his last lap. Remember when we went to green here at the beginning of the race with the green racetrack with the rubber off, but at the end of that stint, the leader, Dario Franchitti, at the time was running about 146, almost 47 miles an hour. So the track's going to be more user-friendly to the tires, so speed.
Oh, yeah, he had a wiggle there, and he had to get out of the throttle while you were looking at the monitor, to the scoring monitor, check the statistics, and that allows Ryan Hunter-Reay to get around him. And just what we were talking about, we're wondering how long they could hold on. There's EJ Viso closing in, and that is for position as well. That's your top 3 right there. So I think we found out that 70 laps, Vince, maybe a little too long.
Oh, Marty, that was a huge wiggle. I don't know if wiggle even does it justice, as you see another one. That's EJ Viso going underneath Castroneves. One of the real advantages to Elio staying out when everyone else pitted was the fact that he had the clean air, and he said the car reacted so much better with the clean air. That's now not going to be the case. He's trying to get 14 more laps before pitting. 14 more before pitting.
Ah, man, that's going to be tough. And this goes back to what we saw at Texas. Guys trying to hang on for dear life. Don't go a lap down. Get to your next pit window. And some of them didn't make it.
Well, and most notably, obviously, thinking about Scott Dixon when he was getting close down to the end of his fuel run, and you know, you end up getting tires that are worn, as you're talking about, and he ended up getting caught on the apron on the left-hand side because the car wiggled, almost caught it, and it put him into the wall. And in this scenario right now, Elio's just trying to probably do much the same, trying to keep the thing out there. But look at the distance right now that Ryan Hunter-Reay has put on Elio since he has passed.
You don't have to be in a hurry.
Now, remember, Ryan Hunter-Reay.
You don't have to be in a hurry. So try tell a driver that he's going.
Ryan Hunter-Reay and Viso, who's now in second, both pitted on lap number 97, as did Tagliani, Barrichello. Castroneves is, like we said, just trying to hang on. Just to, as you keep watching there, give you a verbal update on Scott Dixon. He is 16th right now. He's picked up one spot. Oriol Servia, Tony Kanaan, those two still duking it out for the 7th position. Fastest last lap was E.J. Viso. Second fastest was Will Power, who's running 11th. Third fastest was Ryan Hunter-Reay. And Viso again this lap. And now Ryan Hunter-Reay shown as the fastest on this lap.
You can see the difference in the handling of the cars when you watch two cars going through the turn. Somebody's able to drive it in a little deeper. They have to slow down the middle, then they get back on the power to exit. And then maybe some other drivers had a bit of a different line where they try to keep them speed constant through the turn. Cars are handling different for all these drivers.
He's starting to go off. He's going to hold these guys up.
You heard the call. Now they're talking about Helio Castroneves. Here comes Rubens Barrichello with Tagliani on the outside. Barrichello's taking a peek. He's got to think better of it.
Looks like he does have the faster car because he's able to keep his foot on the gas through the center. Won't want to try and do anything here in turns 1 and 2. Want to set it up right now through turns 1 and 2 and hopefully complete it down the other, and does not look like he's close enough to make that happen this lap.
Well, it's also allowed Helio to stretch it out over Tagliani because Alex had his mirrors full of the number 8. Rick, what are you hearing on tags?
Well, it's interesting. The team isn't talking about who's behind them. They're only talking about in front, giving him advice, making it very clear that the car ahead of him is fading. They need to set him up. Don't worry about the guy behind you. And they were also pointing out that this particular car, they feel it's okay in the early part of the stint, but better at the later part. Their goal was to keep up with the leaders and then hope to take advantage of them towards the end.
Well, he showed that the last time. Remember, he restarted once from a yellow 10th, came in 4th on the next yellow, and got picked up 2 more spots on pit road. He started this race in the 13th position, so he has proven that he can work his way to the front. Oriol Servia, Tony Kanaan. Ooh, little wiggle there by Servia. And deeper we go into this run, we're going to start seeing more of that.
As those tires start to lose the best part of their adhesion, then the drivers are putting more of their input into keeping the car around the turn. But I think to what we're talking about here with fuel mileage and distance of pitting and what have you, the guy that's hoping that there's something that needs a yellow out there will be Helio Castroneves, because he hopes a yellow is going to happen here shortly, so he does not have to pit underneath green and lose not only track position but probably 1 or 2 laps. He's hoping a yellow comes out shortly, where then everybody will come in for service.
We have completed 153 of 225 laps. Things have calmed down just for the moment, and we're waiting for when Helio Castroneves is going to have to come to pit road. He was trying to stretch it to like around lap 83, lap 84. And Dixon right there is in jeopardy of going a lap down. Charlie Kimball was just passed by Ryan Hunter-Reay a few moments ago. And Vince, they're blinking. He's coming to you.
Hearing John Erickson talk with Helio, telling him to make sure he hits his marks, keep the hand on the clutch, making sure that they don't make any mistakes, trying to get off pit lane. No changes for the 3 of Castroneves.
Good stop, 7.6 seconds. But he is going to go a lap down as a result. And boy, Dixon's trying to do everything he can now to stay on this lead lap after a pass-through penalty. Checking in again on Servia and Tony Kanaan, the battle for 6th. You see Helio Castroneves right behind him there. Castroneves is in 17th, 1 lap down.
You know, I'm just looking at this with this last pit stop that Helio just had. You know, he might be able to make this to the end, Marty, depending on the fuel mileage.
Well, we'll keep tabs on that because Castroneves, he made it from lap 69 to lap 154. Definitely go the distance here, depending on what happens with 68 laps to go. we'll try and sort all this out as you get an idea of just where the race leader is coming down the front straightaway, trying to put Scott Dixon a lap down, and he does.
If you were a race car driver.
If you were a race car driver. If you were a race I'd be riding along with you. Your G-force endurance would make astronauts jealous.
Now, if you were a race car driver,
I'd totally marry you.
you don't have time to be in this commercial.
If you were a race car driver,
You'd have the world following your every move.
IndyCar Mobile puts you in the race car driver's seat with live in-car cameras, radio broadcasts, and leaderboards. Download IndyCar Mobile now, only from Verizon.
What makes a ZL1? Splitter, the extractor, the larger front stat bar, 6-piston Brembos,
Gen 3 magnetic shocks,
so the suspension could do its job. All of this hardware is about making the car continue to go into a corner hard lap after lap.
Well, we're back here at Milwaukee, and the race continues, albeit with a 1.5-hour rain delay. Ryan Hunter-Reay there in the number 28 Sundrop machine, your race leader, has 63 laps to go. He's got a 2-second lead over E.J. Viso. He is trying to put Mike Conway a lap down. Viso, it's Alex Tagliani who has now moved up into the 3rd spot. Rubens Barrichello with a great run in 4th. There they are, tags in front of Barrichello. And then James Hinchcliffe rounds out your top 5. You saw Elio Castroneves streak through there. He is 1 lap down in 17th, as is Scott Dixon, Charlie Kimball, and now Mike Conway.
Okay, give you one more turn front way, one more turn.
So here, with 61 laps to go, there is Ryan Hunter-Reay, your race leader, by 2.7 seconds. Let's give you the Mothers race rundown, as we had a 1.5-hour rain delay, and that's what slowed us down initially. And then Scott Dixon was moving up after having a 10-position penalty for an engine change. Started 21st, had some close contact with his number 10 teammate, Dario Franchitti. Then we think he definitely was called for a penalty for jumping a restart, but that was the caution flag. The green flag never came out on that one. We're still trying to wait for clarification on that. Justin Wilson loses the momentum when he ends up losing an engine, and that's the end result as the Texas winner goes out of this. And then a crash on lap 109 involving Takuma Sato and James Jakes. And right now, Scott Dixon is in for a pit stop, and this should be his final stop with 59 laps to go.
Marty, you saw them take a lot of front wing out of that, and as we were riding on board with him just previous for you doing that, I was noticing he seemed to be fighting the steering wheel, meaning the car was probably very nervous for him and had just too much front wing on it and too much front grip.
Okay, so Dixon is back out. Let's go back, because we are still trying to sort this penalty out for Scott Dixon that put him back and is now a lap down. Now this is the one that was waved off. Now clearly there he's around the 98 of Alex Tagliani, but there was no green flag.
But in defense of that, we do not know when the green flag was waved from that video and when they said green, green, green. We didn't.
This was the one that was waved off.
I understand that, but we need to understand when he gets told green, green, green for audio.
Ah, good point.
Okay, so if it was green,
Dario Franchitti's in live. Rick?
Well, this is not the race that Dario Franchitti thought they were going to get. As a result, leading early, relatively clean on this stop, unlike that last one that's cost him a few seconds.
And the two-time winner here, Tony Kanaan, no changes. They'll fill it up with Sunoco fuel, put on 4 tires for Tony Kanaan, who's had a very decent day here.
Graham Rahal brings the car in. Early on, he was complaining about the fact that it was had a problem. They got the Sunoco fuel in, and he's out though. James Hinchcliffe brings the car in. They've been happy with the car. They're putting in a little bit of front wing. Other than that, they think they're getting set up for what could be a pretty good run to the end of this race. Once again, more Sunoco fuel, get them out, 8.2 seconds.
And here comes Alex Tagliani. Rick?
Alex Tagliani brings it in. What a shock to him to be running this high. When he got out of the car yesterday in qualifying, he said he was surprised that the car was doing so badly. He was hoping it was going to do even better. It's been clean. The goal for him is to keep it clean the rest of the way. There you see Will Power. He was complaining he wasn't going to be able to pass anybody, but he's definitely done a better job. Jamie?
Ryan Hunter-Reay gives up the lead. It's been 8 years since he went to victory lane here. The car is good. 4 tires. They filled it up. That was tight, but he made it out.
And it was tight as he managed to get out cleanly. Rubens Barrichello also in white. Rubens has been spectacular today. Has so limited experience on the ovals, and this is a tough place to drive. Vizo, the race leader, now peeled off. Vince?
Remember, E.J. Vizo's best performance ever, a 3rd place finish at Iowa. He's contending for the win today. Would be his first victory in the IndyCar Series. No changes on this 5 car. Pulling it full of fuel, getting him to the finish.
Little longer than some of the other stops, 10.3 on the clock, but he is back out. Now, the one guy that we're not sure about, and look at this pack, look out. Boy, Tagliani had to really pull up to get around the slow 83 of Charlie Kimball.
And it looked like he almost was going to run over him going into the turn. Charlie seems to be just a little bit off of pace there, but running a good line in the outside, and the other cars getting through on the inside.
On board with Charlie right now.
Inside, they're going inside, clear.
Charlie, remember, he has not made his stop yet, so in his defense, he is still on very worn tires. There is Scott Dixon. Dixon back on the lead lap as a result of the cycle of pit stops, but he is still in 14th position, 24 seconds behind the race leader. In fact, that's Ryan Hunter-Reay coming up on him to potentially put him a lap down again. This was just 1 lap ago. Look out. It's Marco Andretti, the first car.
Interesting to see that Dixon was going to try and take the high side, but knew that he was running out of room, but had a good enough car to be able to change lines underneath as we ride on board right now. See, he's going for the outside. Marco is going to do say, oh, no. Wow, that was very close.
And that was for position, so that put Dixon ahead of Marco Andretti, and since Marco has now gone a lap down. Looking at Elio Castroneves and Tony Kanaan, that is a battle for second on the race course. Now, Castroneves went 85 laps on that last tank of fuel, but remember, 34 of those were under caution. So he may still have to make another stop here as we have 48 laps to go. It's Hunter-Reay, Tony Kanaan in second, Castroneves third, Servia running in fourth, and Hinchcliffe rounding out your top 5.
Doesn't look like Elio has the pace of the 2 guys that are up from front right now, the leaders, because the class of the car, or class of the field today, and the car to have.
That did stop last, they're well within the window as long as their tires hold up. I mean, everybody has stopped from lap 169 to around 172. They can go. It'll be a matter of how much rubber you have underneath you.
Well, it'll be interesting to see if you got down to maybe 20 laps to the end and the yellow came out. Do you think you need tires to be competitive at the end? It'd be interesting to see if a couple people came in, took the gamble, and a couple of people decide to stay out.
Checking back a little farther in the field, Graham Rahal had a bit of an up and down day. He is chasing the 9th position. He's in 10th.
Your tires, trying to get around him. Quicker, you just got to be smarter.
That's Carpenter right in front of him. Ed, at one point in this race, was a full lap down, managed to work his way back onto the lead lap, and has a top 10 run going. Meanwhile, Oriole Servia has mirrors full of James Hinchcliffe and a lot of traffic in front. That is Elio Castroneves, Catherine Legg, who is 4 laps down in 19th, and we've got a yellow.
Yellow for moisture.
And don't tell me, I hear moisture. Turn 3. Big break for Elio Castroneves with this caution coming up.
Is this rain? Didn't you hear the yellow? No, I didn't hear anything. Oh, he called it. He called yellow for moisture.
I got to be honest, I don't know if this is rain or if it's moisture on the track. Now we're getting word from our camera position that it is coming from the sky. So, well, we thought we were out of the woods, but we have a bit of rain over in turn number 3. You know, we were talking about who this helps, being Elio Castroneves. Another guy this helps is Scott Dixon. He was on the verge of going a lap down.
And you know, with that change they made in the last pit stop, using some different wing configuration angles by changing it, makes you wonder whether or not his car is going to be fast enough now. And you saw him pull a tear off of his visor there. And what that is, it's a very thin piece of plastic that drivers have, about 3 or 4 of them on their helmet at the start of the race. And as they get moisture on there, debris, oil, or what have you, they tear those off and gives them clean vision. And that's exactly what you saw him do there as we were riding on board in his cockpit.
Now, we've not heard any other reports of rain. Here comes Dario Franchitti. He's going to peel off from his 12th position. There's only 13 on the lead lap. So, Rick, this is not a bad move to make.
Yeah, this is all about tire strategy. Bring him in, put on some sticker tires, or almost sticker tires, because they've all been bedded in a little bit. Then get him back out, make him so he's got the best car possible for this last run to the end.
You know, and to Rick's point, that's what I was saying a moment ago. With 20 laps left to go, would drivers decide they needed new tires if a yellow came out? And so it's going to be interesting to see now if other people decide that maybe they're going to gamble and maybe need new tires for that run to the end.
Well, and with 41 laps to go, the lap vehicles will still be in play where they are on the track. So you see Scott Dixon has also got his crew laid out. In fact, he peels off and heads down pit road at 60 miles an hour. Rick, he's coming your way.
Scott Dixon brings the car in. Remember, they were very, very happy with the car. They'd only done some minor adjustments. They felt this car was going to come to them. They really had anticipated the fact that during the course of this long run, they'd been working all weekend on the long runs. They thought they were going to be able to do it. Unfortunately, as you can see, as a result of that penalty, they're now having to play serious catch-up that they may not be able to do.
So the 2 Target Chip Ganassi cars are going to start 12th and 13th on this restart, and but they'll have fresh rubber and be able to go the distance on that rubber.
Well, it's one thing to be able to come up behind people, and then it's another thing to be able to pass, and you have to be able to be a lot quicker through the middle of the turn to carry the speed out of the turn to get that next driver down into the next turn.
Vince, give us an update on Elio Castroneves, because this is a big break for him.
It is a big break because he obviously was very close on fuel mileage. In fact, just before that yellow, John Erickson, his strategist, told me we are really, really close. Then they got the yellow. That obviously helps them. The big issue, I think, Marty and Scott, are the tires. In fact, Elio radioed in to John just a moment ago and said, how many laps to go? Erickson responded 41, and Elio said, you're kidding, right? He wasn't kidding.
And that goes back to what we've talked about since we got here. What we've noticed is, you know, that the tires just are not going as far as the fuel, and he's going to be asked to hang it out again.
Well, and here comes the decision. You're sitting third, and you know that the other guys have fresher tires on. You'll probably end up moving backwards. How far will you move back? How far will you fall back? That is the gamble, the risk-reward ratio. Or do you decide to come in now and change tires and know that when you go back out, you're going to be restarting the race in 13th spot? So third to maybe 6th or 7th, are you willing to take that gamble, or are you going to go 13th to 6th or 7th? That's, you know, in keep the car on the track because you have new tires.
From one yellow car to another yellow car. And Jamie, let's talk a little bit about our race leader, Ryan Hunter-Reay.
Well, we heard his radio that he didn't hear the caution at all. So when he understood what the caution was for, he goes, what the heck is going on with my luck? I'm finally leading. But this is the situation. He worked very hard to get that lead, get a 2-second lead in fuel map 1 before the stop. When he stopped, he still maintained the lead. So you can imagine he's pretty bummed out right now. He has to restart with these guys breathing down his neck.
All right, thanks for the update, Jamie. Now, we want to also go back because we're still trying to sort out details on the penalty that was given to Scott Dixon. Now, we're going back to the restart, several restarts ago, in fact, two ago, and this is the one that did go green. Now, there's Scott on the outside of Rubens Barrichello.
4th car in line, and he's following Ryan Hunter-Reay. That's the one that we talked about. I do not see a problem with that whatsoever because EJ Visa was going slow in the middle.
Now, right before that, there was a restart that was waved off. So I guess the question is,
well, I think part of the problem is that he's also hanging back. He's not really up behind the car up in front. And I think that maybe they looked at that and did they wave the yellow because of him hanging back? That might be the question.
Well, let's find out from the team manager, Mike Hull. Rick?
Yeah, in fact, Mike Hull is just talking to his driver right now and kind of explaining what's going on, the fact that they've now seen the second one. He's not really thrilled about this. Still talking with Dixon right now to kind of explain what's going on. The difficulty for these guys is they thought it was the other restart, so as a result, they've been talking about that. Mike Hull, let's talk about that penalty. Do you think it was fair?
I'm sorry, what's that now?
Let's talk about the penalty. You know, was it fair? Obviously not for that second restart, but for the first one.
I don't know. It was waved off. The guy that's leading the thing was going so slow. Scott was in first gear. And it wasn't even a restart, but I guess we were penalized for that. So, I don't know. We saw it. Everybody has their opinions that sees it. I guess it's like watching a guy throw is it a strike or is it a ball? I don't know what to say. I think it was a bit harsh considering that everybody's jumping every restart. But that's the way it is. We've got a good car today with a target car. We'll go racing for the rest of the race.
Mike Hull, and I can tell you, Mike Hull has been doing a great job trying to keep Scott Dixon calm during this whole process.
And usually Iceman is pretty calm, but I think this one's got him up on the tire.
Oh, and I imagine it's probably red mist right now when he takes the green flag, and a little closer. This yellow certainly helps him get closer to the competition. As you mentioned, Marty saved him from going a lap down, so hopefully his car is going to be fast enough.
Getting ready to go green. It is Hunter-Reay, Kanaan, Castroneves, and Oriol Servia started this race 20th. He's now up to 4th, picking up 16 positions. He is now, remember, he gained 73 positions in the first 6 races. This guy has been very racy this year. Green flag is in the air, and boy, did you see Pagenaud duck down behind race leader Ryan Hunter-Reay. Now remember, Pagenaud was a lap down. I don't know if he was trying to get out of the way for somebody, but
well, very aggressive move, and maybe he realized that when he did not get the start, the jump in the start, that he would have to be defending.
Big log jam in the back of the field. There's EJ Vizo. Now remember, he has been up front running well all day long. He's trying to fight his way back after this last round of pit stops.
Carpenter looked like he had a run going on the inside. Did he get that completed?
Well, it's Castroneves, then Carpenter. And here is Graham Rahal with there's Scott Dixon. Whoa.
He's off.
Rahal really had to get out of the throttle.
We have a yellow.
And we've got a crash. Dario Franchitti has put it into the wall between turns 3 and 4. So our 5th caution of the day. At Texas, we saw Scott Dixon go out in a single car incident into the wall. And this week, we see Dario Franchitti in the wall. He's telling the Home Ultra safety crew, I'm okay, guys. Just let me get out.
This as a driver is when you feel real bad. He's going to go to the back now and look to see what's going on. Makes me wonder if something broke to put him in that position. But whenever you've crashed and you have to push the button and tell the team that you've just hit the wall, it's always hated that. Not a great feeling.
All right. Let's go on board. show you a replay of what was going on here.
Remember, we've just coming up to the restart.
Whoa, Briscoe.
So you can see his hand pushing the button on the steering wheel. He's radioing, telling them exactly what happened.
Okay, so that was earlier. Then, boy, it just stepped out. Wow.
Yeah.
Thank goodness for the safer barrier.
Safe.
Wow. I'm wondering if you're right. Let's listen, see if we can hear something.
Oh, something's broken. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, did you hear the thud? Right now, listen. You know, could this been a precursor to what happened? I mean, that.
Well, he's rubbed wheels, and even on the onboard before he crashed, it looked like the tires were still inflated, so we just don't know.
If you go back and listen, and maybe we'll get a chance to do it, just listen to and you'll hear a thud before the car ever spins to or as it's spinning to the wall.
See, he had changed down gears, and it was back on the throttle, and then something happened after that. So yeah, we don't know if that's gearbox related. I can't believe that it is, or something in the back of the car broke and sent the car around and put the back end of the wall. So as you mentioned, it goes into the safer barrier, the steel, and that they've changed here and put in front of the concrete walls is certainly a great thing for the drivers here today.
And Rick is caught up with Chip Ganassi.
And for the second week in a row, he's having to watch one of his drivers have to climb out early. And did he say anything at all about the handling or what might have led to that?
Well, Ricky said that apparently the lap before that, he said Briscoe and his spotter didn't even see him. So something obviously happened there, because it looked like something broke in the car. I mean, it turned pretty quickly, like you know, like a tire failure or suspension failure or something.
So once again, second race in a row, these guys have to watch something go wrong, and unfortunately this time they're not going to have a second target car to be able to make up for it.
Well, and this may be the end of Dario Franchitti's championship hopes this year. We talked about it at the beginning of this broadcast, and right now he would be shown, if the race stopped, and obviously we still have laps to go, but he would be in 7th, 71 points behind with races running out.
And I mean, the only good side of it, as you can say, is that Will Power, who's leading the championship, is not having a great day today. He's not going to take away maximum points by the looks of it. But you're right. I think you really need to win today, have another great weekend at Iowa, because when they get back to the road courses, that's where Will Power certainly has his strength, and that's where he can make up points.
Dario's last DNF, the restart at Loudon last year in the rain. Before that, it was Kansas of April 2009. So again, not the kind of day that Dario Franchitti or his fans were hoping for.
Well, and tough on the teams, Marty. I mean, we've had so many races in a row, and they've been testing usually Tuesday after a race weekend. They just tested in Iowa. After Indy, they were here at Milwaukee testing on Tuesday, and they race in Iowa next weekend. You know, just came from Texas to here, then to Iowa. I mean, these guys are not getting a break as far as the crew is concerned, without any difficulties of having crashed cars. So without a doubt, the guys are going to have a lot on their plate to get ready for next weekend.
All right, let's try and clean up some things here. We have 25 laps to go, and that's outside the 20-lap rule. So the lap vehicles are still in play here. So it is Ryan Hunter-Reay, your race leader, Tony Kanaan second, Servia third, Hinchcliffe fourth, and Castroneves fifth, and Ed Carpenter has moved up to sixth. Surveying the field, they're coming through four. There you saw Marco in green. Now he's a lap down in 14th, even though he was in row 3. Green flag flies. Here we go.
Later in the race, the more people dive towards the inside on the restarts. This is getting good.
Ryan Hunter-Reay takes advantage of the clean air and really jumps out in front. Kanaan is a good 4 to 5 car lengths behind.
Couple 5-car per position, one back.
We're on board with Hinchcliffe. Dixon, remember, he's got fresh tires. Give him an opportunity to use them now. see if he can work his way back up, but he's got a lot of traffic to fight his way through, and that's Graham Rahal trying to go around Marco Andretti.
Marco gets down on the low side, takes the air away from Dixon. Now he's got
that's Conway.
On the right-hand side, so will he have enough momentum to be able to dive down the inside of Marco? Does not look like it.
Conway also a lap down. So the two cars that are a lap down are not giving him any break on getting by, and there he is. I mean,
boy, that frustrates you as a driver when you know that the car that's taking up the space in front of you is a lap down. So here he's going to try and make a move, and he's probably got a little red mist in his eye right now simply because he's got that penalty. He just does not have the car, Marty. He can't keep the speed up in the middle of the turn.
Andretti and Conway are fighting for position on the racetrack, albeit 14th and 15th, one lap down. So there's always these two schools of thought here. Do you get these lap vehicles out of the way to allow the guys that have contention a chance to win, to play amongst themselves, or do you let these guys do their thing?
I see your point, Brett. If Dixon had a strong enough car where he had the grip, then he probably would have been able to complete the passes and be on his way. But right now, I'm just not sure that that's the case. Here, he's going to have another look at it, but see, he can't keep the speed up in the middle turn. Well, now Conway on the outside that time, he gets that completed. Now he's got to take a charge and go forward and try and get past Marco and then continue on and catch the group ahead.
But now it's taken him 6 laps to get around just Conway. He's now 10 seconds behind the race lead, and time is running out. Now he's going to run on Andretti, and he makes the pass. And he's now 12 seconds behind the race lead. You just saw James Hinchcliffe and E.J. Vizo side by side. There is Dario Franchitti out of the Med Center, and let's go to Jamie Little.
It was a big hit. You can imagine there's a lot of media around here because we don't see you come out of the medical center very often. What led to that, Dario? We saw contact early, but did something maybe break?
I think something broke, Jamie, for sure. You know, Ryan, I was on Ryan's inside, and he just kept coming down there, but I just don't think his spotter told him I was there. That's pretty simple. But yeah, I got about half a car on the rumble strip there. Next lap went in there, and something broke in the back end of the car. It was fine, and you'll see here, just in a second, it just snaps round. You actually see the car drop at the back there before it hit, so I think the suspension broke. So tough end. The Cottonelle car was not very good today, unfortunately, and we're making the best of it. But yeah, a long old day out there.
Dario, looking at the big picture, how much extra pressure does this moment put on the future in the championship this year?
No extra, really. You know, I don't really look at it that way. If we do a good enough job, we'll win the championship. If we don't, we won't. I've always said that, and you know, all you can do each week is your best, and if that allows you to win a championship, great. If it doesn't, well, you know, that's it. We've had a great run so far, 3 in a row. We'd love to make it 4, but we'll just keep trying.
Glad you're okay. Dario Franchitti will end his day early. Marty?
And now, with 15 laps to go, let's check the Firestone lap leaders, because Ryan Hunter-Reay has a 2.5-second lead as you continue to watch the Hinchcliffe-Vizo battle for 4th. It is Ryan with the most laps led at 69. Dario had the first 63. Elio, EJ, James Hinchcliffe, the other leaders today. 14 laps to go, and it is now 12 cars on the lead lap. 18 seconds separate those 12 cars. This is the best battle on the racetrack. Vizo takes a peek, can't get it done.
All right, bud, you got to use your timing, man. Use your timing. I think the way the wind's blowing is you get a good run on him. You're going to get underneath him coming off of 3 and 4 if you can.
All right, so talk about how the wind is playing an effect here. That's Oriol Servia right in front of those 2 cars. There's Servia. He is 3rd. Hinchcliffe, then Vizo. 3, 4, 5. Let's get an update on Hinchcliffe. Rick.
Well, just an amusing aspect of this. Even before we played that little bit where they were talking to Vizo a moment about where he was going to go after Hinchcliffe, Hinchcliffe's team came on the radio and told him he's going after you in 3 and 4. They were already prepping him because apparently they're listening to their radios as well.
Well, he takes a defensive line, but he holds it all the way through turn 1.
And when the driver in front of you does that, Marty, then you need to revert back to the normal line, as we call it. So for E.J. Vizo, he should have went back to the high side going into 1, and then he could have had a stronger run coming out of 1 to 2 and take a shot at it there. Once once the driver blocks to go in front, then you really aren't going to make that move complete. You're going to take an alternate line.
You heard the call, 10 to go. We'll let you know while you're watching this. This is the best action on the track. It is now a 3-second lead for Ryan Hunter-Reay over Tony Kanaan. He has lengthened it.
And he's turning speeds, Marty, of about 1.5 miles an hour faster than Tony Kanaan, Oriol Servia, and James Hinchcliffe. So he's in clean air. His car is working for him, and he's just got to be smooth, consistent, and make no mistakes.
9 laps to go now here at Milwaukee. Servia takes a bit of a defensive line going into 3. Will he pay a price coming out of 4? And look at Hinchcliffe going on the high side and coming out of 4. He manages to take the position away from Oriol Servia.
Servia probably might be a little bit slow because with Hinchcliffe going in front of his bow, EJ should have a shot at this possibly.
Now they all basically stopped back at the same laps. It was Servia at 169, Hinchcliffe at 170, so tires should be pretty much the same on all of these cars. Viso actually came in at lap 173. And he is right behind Servia.
Be smart, buddy. Be smart.
There you see Elio Castroneves in 6th, Tagliani 7th, Carpenter is now 8th, Rahals 9th, and Barrichello is sliding back. Rubens has dropped down to 10th now. I don't know if there's an issue or maybe the tires have just gone away on the number 8. There is Rubens. Boy, he has had a strong run all day. He has, this actually has been, I think, the lowest he's been all day under green flag conditions.
Impressive, like we spoke about, after running a Formula 1 car for 19 years, coming over here and then being involved in this type of a format on ovals. I'm sure it's fun for him, but he probably thinks occasionally, like, what have I gotten myself into?
Well, Barrichello, his best run so far, we had an 8th at Barber and a 9th at Long Beach. Ryan Hunter-Reay, 4 laps remaining. It's been about 11 races since his last win at New Hampshire back in 2011. And of course, he won here back in 2004. Servia and Viso still going after him.
Yeah, it looked like Viso took a run on him, did not get that completed because when we got to the camera shot, he really started to fall back. And it looks like Viso might have a faster car than Oriol Servia. That's why you keep hearing the radio connection to Viso saying just make the proper timing.
There you see the gap from their position all the way to our race leader. And this time by, there will be 2 laps remaining. And the car... You heard it, +4, and the car he's coming up on is Will Power. Power in 12th position right now. And this is the kind of finish he did not want, especially now that Dario Franchitti is out of this race, because he could have lengthened his points lead even more. White flag is going to be coming out this time by. 1 more mile for Ryan Hunter-Reay. Through turns 1 and 2 smoothly. He can almost coast home from here. The lead is now up to 4.6 seconds over Tony Kanaan. Through turns 3 and 4 for the final time. Ryan Hunter-Reay, his 6th career win and 2nd win in Milwaukee. Second place to Tony Kanaan. James Hinchcliffe comes across the line in 3rd. Oriol Servia with another good run, and EJ Viso rounds out the top 5.
Unbelievable. Great drive.
So Ryan Hunter-Reay makes Michael Andretti.
Thank you, boys. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you so much. The car was awesome.
That's wife Becky right there to the left. And let's talk to Michael. How about it, Vinny?
Michael Andretti celebrating that victory. You guys have been 3rd, you've been 2nd, and today you're 1st. Congratulations. How good does that feel?
Feels really good, and even extra special, you know, being our own race. Awesome job. I mean, Ryan just drove a hell of a job. Great pit stops. So happy for DHL and Sundrop. I mean, great day.
And 2 of the top 3 with Hinchcliffe coming in third.
Yeah, Hinch did a great job with the GoDaddy car as well, so can't complain. Good day.
Great to be racing in Milwaukee. Congratulations on a wonderful event and the victory.
Thank you very much. It's great being back here in Milwaukee.
Marty?
9 of the top 10 positions in the points are going to change as a result of this race. Will Power will hold the lead, but James Hinchcliffe is going to move into second by 27 points. Dario Franchitti is going to drop to 7th, 69 points behind. And here goes the celebration. Well, it took us an hour and a half longer than we anticipated to get started because of the rain, but I hope you thought it was worth it because it was a very interesting race from where we were sitting.
I think it's great, and it just shows you how tough these cars are to drive today, and I think that's what all the time drivers are asking for and the teams are asking for. So the rule changes have certainly facilitated that. We saw that at Texas, and I think we saw great racing obviously at Indianapolis, and I'm probably a proponent of maybe taking off some more downforce as Ryan's wife Becky climbs in the cockpit to say congratulations. And you know, I think the theme around the pit lane right now is give these cars less downforce, let the drivers drive them, give them more horsepower, and really put the driver back into it more than what we're even seeing here today.
Becky, actually Robbie Gordon's sister, and she is one happy wife right now. And the celebration is about to begin for Ryan Hunter-Reay in victory lane.
Ryan Hunter-Reay needing help here. He forgot he needs to take off his helmet, his Hans device, to get out. Michael Andretti here clapping next to me.
Have him go around the other side. Yeah, we can have you go off that cross. Thank you. Perfect. Way to go.
All right, Ryan Hunter-Reay gets permission to get out. He looked up and said, that's a lot of work to get out of there. Ryan, come on out and celebrate.
What's that?
Go again, putting a happy face on death.
Takes a lot. How did you guys get it done today?
Happy to be here. DHL Victory Circle. Look at it. Says it right there. That's awesome. We couldn't have planned this any better. That was so much work. I think that was one of the most physical races I've ever driven. I mean, I was just hanging on to it the whole time. Car was awesome, though. Guys did a great job. To get a victory for DHL, Sundrop, Circle K at an Andretti Sports marketing event. Man, I couldn't describe it any better. I mean, this is a track that I had one of my best races ever at. We just duplicated the thing. Way to go, boys.
Ryan, you said it was one of the most physical races. How so? I know there were a lot of things that we weren't sure about with this new car.
You're just always on edge, so busy in the car, trying to keep on top of it, save the tires. Then you got to push when you got to push. And man, we cut it close a couple times there. I made a good pass on Elio, got the lead there, and then went around the outside in turn 1 on one of the restarts. But happy Father's Day to my dad at home. Wish you were here. The best dad on earth. Appreciate it. You put me here. This one's for you. Absolutely.
Congratulations. Ryan Hunter-Reay becomes the first American to win in the IndyCar Series, and here's his wife grabbing him. She's wearing the right color and everything. Big celebration down here. Marty.
Well, a great run for Ryan Hunter-Reay as he takes home the victory, and will continue the interview process through radio and television. Let's talk to the man who finished in second place, Tony Kanaan. How about him, Rick?
And I think he's happy with second place. You said you just didn't have anything for Ryan. Is that correct at the end?
Yeah, I mean, I felt that for some reason we lost some speed during the race, and I couldn't save fuel. I had to run a full mixture because I didn't have enough for the guys in front. So once we pitted and the yellow came out, we had
when they said we were good to the end, I was quite happy for a second. I tried on the restart, and I saw how bad Ryan wanted it, so I said, you know what, we'll take second place. But great result for Chevy, 1, 2, 3, and you know, the 11 boys and the crew did a great job on the stops. And Andretti guys help us out on the pit stops on the exit. So I'm extremely happy. It was a great race. Hopefully, you know, the grandstands were packed. I love this, and hopefully we come back to this place. It's an awesome place.
Yeah, in fact, Tony was actually congratulating and thanking the guys on James Hinchcliffe's team for getting the tires out of the way so he could make his stops faster.
All right, let's take a look at the final results as the celebration continues down in Victory Circle. As behind Ryan Hunter-Reay and Tony Kanaan, James Hinchcliffe, and look at the Chevrolet bow tie. Came back after a couple of races where Honda was flexing its muscles. They take the top 6 spots and take 8 out of the top 10, Scott.
And very impressive run for a few of those guys, like we talked about with Hinchcliffe and Servi and Viso. And guys that didn't have a great day as they anticipated. Scott Dixon, Will Power, guys that are trying to get themselves up in the championship. Simon Pagenaud, a good job here on the oval, as he's known as a road course driver. And there are the drivers that did not make it to the finish line as well, and including Justin Wilson, our winner last week at Texas Motor Speedway. There is Scott Dixon. Of course, he's probably still wondering what the penalty on the restart. Now, this is what they called the penalty on. He is the 4th car, left-hand side, the number 9 target machine. And if this is the restart that he got the penalty on, Marty, I do not agree with it, because the car in front, E.J. Viso, was going slow, and I don't see where the error is there for Scott Dixon. And then here is the no start, which was right before this. And as you heard Mike Hull say, well, how do you, if that was what they were penalizing us for, how do you get a penalty for a start that never occurred if it was waved off? And not only that, but Alex Tagliani also was very slow on that start. Okay, they were watching it. Vince, let's talk to him.
Yeah, it was a crowd. Scott Dixon watching with Chip Ganassi and Graham Rahal. What's your thought on exactly what happened?
You know, I don't really know. You know, I don't know. There's a couple of restarts that were pretty crazy. There was one, I think, where Viso was going 20 miles an hour, and I think I was the only guy in first gear. And when they went, I went and had to pull out of line because everybody was going so slow, but that was a wave off. So I don't really understand where I've gone wrong here. I definitely, there was another restart there, but it looks like from review, it was one that Hunter-Reay actually jumped, not me. So I'm actually very excited to see what the hell they're talking about. You know, I'm disappointed. You know, we had a good day. We got from, you know, 23rd or 21st all the way up to 7th on the first stint. We ran into a throttle issue where I wasn't getting full throttle for the, you know, last half of the race, which was, you know, very hard to pass people. So, you know,
There's been a lot of talk about restarts and restart zones. I mean, is there any confusion amongst the drivers or in the drivers' meetings discussion about that particular item?
Well, there is, but, you know, unless it's, you know, the problem at the moment, there's so many gray areas. Nobody really knows, you know, and you know, personally, I don't think I've done anything wrong. You know, I'm you know, looking forward to find out actually what they're talking about. But, you know, you can't restart an IndyCar at 20 miles per hour. You know, that's obviously why they waved off that first attempt, and then we went back at it, and it was fine after that. So, you know, obviously there's a few guys that need to know when they're at the front how to actually start a race or restart a race too. So, you know, I'm just bummed for the Target team, and, you know, I thought it was a hell of a show today. It was, you know, kind of tough and a bit one lane at the end, but, you know, we had a pretty decent car when it was running properly at the start.
Thanks for the time, Scott. Marty?
All right, thanks, Vince. So Scott Dixon's as perplexed as many others, I think, in this entire situation. It'll be interesting to see what we end up hearing in the definitive conversation later. Rick, you've caught up with James Hinchcliffe, another top 5 finish.
Indeed, and we were just talking a moment ago to say, was this the race you expected it to be? Did it turn out to play out the way you thought?
Yeah, I mean, I think that first stint was a bit tough because the track was so green. There wasn't really 2 grooves yet, but after that, man, it turned into good old-fashioned Milwaukee. It was, you know, it was fast, it was furious, it was multiple lanes, tires falling off. So, I'm super thrilled for the guys. I mean, Andretti Autosport first and third. Huge congrats to Ryan. You know, he's had a bad run of luck, and for him to bounce back like this is huge. And just happy for the GoDaddy guys, man. You know, we qualified pretty poorly, started 8th because of a couple of penalties, but just picked them off sort of throughout the race, and car was good when we needed it to be.
And if we're thinking championship, it looks like you've made up some ground here. I mean, my math isn't that great, but I think you may be in second place, and you probably gained on the leader at the same time.
This is what they're telling me, man. I mean, it's crazy to think that, what, 8 races in now, we'd be second in points. It's a lot of credit to the crew. I mean, obviously, we've been there every single weekend. We've been competitive. We've been finishing races. We've been finishing the top 6, and that's what it takes to be in the running. But we're hungry for a little more. You know, there's still a couple steps on this podium we got to get.
All right. Well, right now he's only 31 points behind in second place, and for today, he'll take that.
And
Jamie.
And it was a great charge for Oriol Servia. Once again, starts 20th. You guys threw everything at it last night. How did you charge through? Was the car just that